ladies are still flocking to holiday camps like this one for a chance to let the good times roll. In fact, I have been invited to join the judging panel of the notorious Knobbly Knees competition. Talking about our delightful dog show, where locals come together to celebrate the loyalty and beauty of man's best friend. Plucky poodles parade alongside courageous corgis, all wagging their tails with passion and pride. Oh, goodness gracious. Excuse me, young lady, your dog is pissing all over my shoes. This is Friday, the 2nd of April, 1978. I'm stood outside Dobson's department store recording for Local Life. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to this week's edition of Local Life. My name is Terry Smith, and I'm standing outside Dobson's, our local department store, right in the heart of the city centre. Department stores like this are getting bigger and bolder, offering everything from dining room tables to washing machines. I'm stood with Geoff Thomas, manager of the store. Thank you, Geoff, for joining us this week on Local Life.
It's lovely to have you here, Terry.
Cheers, Geoff. That was great. I've got everything I need.
Are you sure? I could do it again.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
So long as you're sure. Well, I'll take you up to the ladies' department where you can talk to Barbara.
You need to calm down, girl. I mean, do you need to take 5? Do you want to take 5?
Oh, dear.
Do you want to go
You wait here, Terry. I'll just see what's happening with Barbara. Why don't you take a look at our range of easy chairs?
Oh, dear, there is quite a commotion here on the shop floor.
Completely unacceptable behaviour, Bernice.
That girl is very upset.
Please calm down, Bernice. Bernice. Calm down.
I'll take her home. Barbara, that's Terry over there from the radio station.
Oh, yes, hello.
Don't you worry, Geoff. I've got everything under control.
Get fired. I wouldn't be able to let that work. It's just not professional, is it? It's a shame, isn't it?
Well, if I'd known this was today, I would have had my hair done.
Our listeners cannot see your hair, Barbara, no matter how good it looks.
That may be true, Terry, but I think people can sense these things, can't they? Anyway, welcome to the Ladieswear department here at Dobson's, my home from home.
Yes, thank you, Barbara. Listen, is that young lady all right?
Oh, yes, she's fine. Please don't worry yourself.
She seemed incredibly upset.
She's just broken up with her boyfriend. You know what girls are like at that age. It's always the end of the world.
Oh, of course. Well, Barbara, if you're happy, we'll get started. How this works is I'll do a brief intro and I'll introduce you. Then I'll ask you some questions about working here. Really simple stuff, so don't be nervous.
Takes a lot to make me nervous, Terry.
I'll be as quick as I can. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm now in the ladies' fashion department, here with Department Manager Barbara. Thank you for joining us on Local Life.
The pleasure is all mine, Terry. Welcome to the ladies' fashion department here at Dobson's. We have a fantastic range of stylish and affordable fashions for the modern woman.
Barbara, what do you most enjoy about working here?
Definitely the customers. Helping ladies to experiment with fashion is very rewarding. Very often ladies come in here and they don't know what suits them. And I tell them, don't be afraid of fashion. My job is to guide these ladies, help them to understand their silhouette, which colours flatter, My opinion means a lot to these people.
I'm sure a lot of our female listeners will agree that there's nothing quite like retail therapy.
There's nothing like it. Life can be very hard for people, which is why it's important to treat yourself, even if it's just a new lipstick, something to make you feel special. People see my job and they only see the glamour, but that's only part of it. There's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes, but all the hard work pays off when you hear the tills ringing.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for sharing your world with our local life listeners.
The pleasure has been all mine.
Unfortunately, going to have to leave for another report.
Terry, this is Barbara. We met the other day at Dobson's department store. Just wanted to say what a pleasure it was to meet a local celebrity. And I might have a bigger story for you. I don't want to say any more over the phone. Maybe we could meet for a coffee and I can tell you more. You can call me any time at the store. The number is 01176.
Inquiring.
Would you like a cigarette, Terry?
No, thank you. I don't smoke.
Oh, that surprises me. Showbiz type like you. 2 coffees, 1 bacon sandwich. Thank you. Terry, I hope you don't mind me contacting you. You left your number with Geoff.
It's fine, Barbara. Now, you said you had a story for me.
Yes, that's what I said. Listen, Terry, I don't know if I'm comfortable with you recording this conversation.
Now, don't worry, Barbara. This is just a dictaphone. I keep all my ideas on here. I'm the only one who listens to it. Too easy to forget things when you're writing things down.
You promise me that you won't share it with anyone else?
You have my word, Barbara.
What I'm going to tell you is very sensitive information.
I understand.
Something strange is happening at Dobson's.
Something strange.
Bernice, the girl you saw crying, she's the second girl I've lost in 6 months. Both of them like broken dolls.
What's been going on?
The first girl, Nancy, she was acting strange for a long time. Once a week, she would stay after the store had closed so she could change the mannequins.
Change the mannequins?
Change their outfits and accessories. We have to keep our displays fresh and exciting, you see.
So the girls would stay alone in the store 1 night a week.
That's right. And they were shaken up by the experience. Nancy said she had been putting a new pair of gloves on a mannequin, and as she pulled the glove on, the fingers started to move. She thought she had just imagined it. She picked up a scarf and leaned in close to tie around the mannequin's neck. She told me that as she leaned in, she could feel breathing across her neck. She was frozen with fear. Then she felt a gloved hand stroking the side of her arm. She was so terrified she could not scream. And then the hand grabbed her wrist. When we opened the store the next morning, Nancy had locked herself in Geoff's office. At first she was very disorientated, very groggy. She wouldn't talk. Geoff thought maybe she'd taken drugs. Her skirt was slightly torn and she had obviously been crying. Mascara smeared all over her face. But Nancy wasn't that kind of girl. She was very focused and diligent with her work. After a cup of tea, she started talking. And she told me what I just told you.
So what happened next, Barbara?
Well, I rang her mother. There was no way she could work that day. As I was taking her to her mother, I looked over at Nancy and I saw her wrist. It was covered in bruises that looked like the fingers of her hand.
So you think she was telling the truth about the mannequin?
All I can say is that Nancy absolutely believed what she was telling me. I just assumed she'd been in a fight with her boyfriend, but she refused to come back to work. So that's when I hired Bernice, the girl you saw the other day.
So what happened to Bernice then?
I was confident when I hired her. Very nice girl from a nice family. Eager to learn. I enjoyed her company. But I couldn't help but notice she was getting paranoid. She said she felt like people were watching her. Next, she starts saying she can hear breathing. Someone breathing in the shadows. Breathing on her neck.
What did you think when she was telling you this?
I told her she needed to snap out of it. I remember what it was like to be young. You feel everything so deeply. But it was there in the back of my mind. The second girl to be telling me these things. I told her to focus on her work. So I left her alone to change the mannequins as usual. In the basement of the building we have a storeroom where the cleaners keep their mops and buckets, and we keep our spare mannequin parts in there. It's a room with a big frosted glass window by the door. Bernice came down to the storeroom to find a new arm for the mannequin she was dressing. She told me that as she approached the storeroom, she could see the light was on inside. As she moved closer, she could hear whispering coming from the room. She crept closer and could see the silhouettes of 3 mannequins behind the frosted glass. She came right up to the glass, and the whispering stopped. She said she could hear something creaking, then the rustling of fabric. She opened the door and looked at the 3 mannequins stood behind the glass. She went to the other side of the room and found the box of the spare mannequin parts. As she was trying to find what she wanted, she could hear someone else breathing in the room. The breathing seemed to get louder. She turned around. There was only 2 mannequins standing there. The 3rd mannequin had disappeared. She thought she must be losing her mind. So she went to leave the room. As she approached the door, she looked at the 2 mannequins and realised one of them was smiling at her.
What do you mean?
All the mannequins we have at Dobson's have exactly the same face, with the same eyeshadow and the same lipstick. They all have the same mouth, a sort of sensual pout, like this.
Yes, I see what you mean.
None of those mannequins have a smile.
Maybe a trick of the light.
Maybe. You've not touched your bacon sandwich.
I've lost my appetite. What happened next, Barbara?
Bernice walked out of the door and turned to pull it shut. As she pulled the door close, a hand shot out from the darkness and grabbed her by the wrist. It was not a human hand that was holding her, Terry. It was a wooden hand. She says she could hear whispering coming from the room. She tried with all her might to pull away, but they dragged her into the darkness. When I turned up for work the next day, there was quite a commotion. The cleaners found Bernice in the storeroom first thing. Someone had written with a lipstick on the frosted glass.
What was written on the glass?
You will all burn.
My goodness.
I can't tell you the state that girl was in when I got to her. Her clothing was torn to smithereens, covered in bruises and scratches. She looked like she'd been in an awful fight. Of course, we had to call the police. What I've just told you is what she said to the policeman who came. He wrote it all down, but of course, he didn't take a word of it seriously. Thought she was bonkers. Her parents came to pick her up. I didn't tell them about the lipstick on the window. A couple of days later, she was back at work, much quieter than usual, but I thought she was all right. But then the morning you came to do your interviews, she was acting so strangely again. She said she could hear whispers everywhere she went. Then she became convinced she could smell burning. So I followed her around, trying to smell what she could smell. Then she starts screaming like she's lost her mind.
So, why are you telling me all of this, Barbara?
When I've been alone in the store, I've heard the same breathing the girls heard. I heard the whispers. I think they're telling the truth. There is something supernatural occurring at Dobson's. Something with the mannequins. If we could capture something, record something, we could make a lot of money, Terry. I'm sure you must have media connections that would pay good money to have proof of the supernatural.
Ah, so you're hoping this may bring you fame and fortune.
I've got big dreams, Terry.
And what makes you any different from Nancy or Bernice?
The difference is, Terry, that I'm not afraid of anything.
This afternoon I met Barbara Malone, a very colourful character who works at Dobson's department store. She told me a tall tale indeed. Now something is obviously happening at Dobson's, although quite frankly I have no idea what may actually be happening. Now Barbara is a colourful character, and she clearly believes what these girls have told her. I've heard plenty of outrageous tales during my years as a reporter, but nothing as bizarre as this. Maybe that's why it has intrigued me so much. Today I went through our archive and found a story about Dobson's from 20 years ago, just before the store opened. A young woman called Vera was left alone to prepare the mannequins for their big opening. That night, there was a terrible fire in the store, which started in the basement. Now, the fire brigade arrived quickly, but tragically, the young lady died in the fire. A tragic accident, perhaps, but no foul play was found. Now, is there a story there? Are these women insane? Or am I mad for wanting to believe them?
Hi, Terry, it's Barbara. I got your message, and I'm glad that you've decided that this is worth investigating. Tomorrow night is the night I will stay late to change the mannequins. You should wait outside the staff entrance on George Street at 6 o'clock. When everyone's left the building, I will come down and let you in. I'll see you then. I'm glad you came, Terry.
I'm worried you could lose your job, Barbara.
Then we better make sure we don't get cold. That's the storeroom, down there.
Yes, I can see the mannequins behind the frosted glass.
Shall we?
Did you hear that?
Come on, Terry. Fortune favours the bold.
The mannequin just moved. Barbara, don't open the door.
Calm down, Terry. I brought a flask of whiskey with me. Maybe you should have some for your nerves.
Oh, yes, well, I must confess, Barbara, I'm far more nervous being here than I thought I would be. Maybe this is a bad idea, Barbara.
Nonsense, Terry. Remember, this is what you came here for. Have some more to drink.
Barbara, we should leave now. I think we're in danger.
You were in danger the moment you stepped in this store, Terry.
What do you mean? Oh, Barbara, I don't feel right at all.
Just relax, Terry. You're doing fine.
Oh, Barbara, I do not feel well. What's happening? Barbara, why can't I move?
Because you're tied up, Terry.
What have you done, Barbara?
Don't take it personally. I'm just fulfilling my end of a deal.
What deal?
My deal. With the devil, you could say.
What really happened to those girls, Barbara?
Bernice and Nancy were not brave enough to listen to the whispers in the darkness. But I was. Nothing scares me, Terry. So I listened very closely to what they were saying. That's when I realized that I was special. I was the chosen one.
What do the voices want?
The sacrifice.
Oh, my God.
In return for this sacrifice, I will be greatly rewarded.
Please, Barbara, don't.
This is what happens when you underestimate me, Terry.
Please, Barbara, don't do this. Please, Barbara, don't do this.
Sweet dreams, Terry.
Quickly, over there. I can see a body. It's been 6 months since the tragic fire at Dobson's department store, which took the lives of store manager Geoff Thomas and the host of our own local live show, Terry Smith. Since the fire, the store has been managed by Barbara Malone, an employee at Dobson's who took charge under remarkable circumstances. Staff and customers alike have commended her leadership and bravery. It's a pleasure to meet you, Barbara.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine.
Taking on the management of a big company at such a delicate time must have been intimidating.
I've always encouraged my customers to take chances with fashion, and I think the same is true with life. You just have to be brave enough to step into the unknown.
You strike me as a very brave woman, Barbara.
I'm not afraid of anything.